Yep. So back at it again. It's be very difficult to fucking drop these podcast episodes. Very difficult because these streets are quite dry. Most of these games I don't even give a fuck about. But if you have been listening, you know I am a big fan of Saint Row, and they're making, finally bringing it back to us. New areas of Las Vegas type town. The art style, it got me a little worried. I like more serious. Don't get me wrong, sprinkling some jokes and stuff like that in there, but I like the more serious aspect of Saint Row. But I'm not gonna shit on the game. I am cautious about the game because if they start going full dildos and shit, I'm just gonna be like, all right, man. I like that level of, how should I say it? I like that level of seriousness in the video games. Well, in their games. Saint Row 1 and 2 was probably the best games in their genre. Don't get me wrong, GTA 3, that was pretty good, but your character really never spoke, so it's whatever. Like, there was no emotion for your character. Saint Row 2 is, in my opinion, way better than GTA 4. I just didn't care about Nico like that. Nico's a good character, but compared to Saint Row 2, there's no comparison. It's just like games that let you move your character from game to game. There's just something there that these other games, the GTA franchise, you're more invested into those characters. That's what I should say. You're more invested in those characters because you've been through it. You're the same person from game to game. So that's why it just doesn't even compete. So Nico, some people say Nico's a good character or whatnot. I'm not shitting on Nico personally, but being that I was a regular gang member in Saint Row 1, rose to be the boss in Saint Row 2, then someone tried to kill me, there was just so much there. Then your teammates dying, it added a level of impact. You met multiple characters that continued on in the franchise, Shondi and Pierce. So it's just, there's a lot there that I feel that's lacking from Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto is an amazing game. No one can deny that. But the aspect of having your character move from different game to game is something that I feel like they might want to work on. But they're paying big money for the shit they're doing, the actors they got. They're dropping big bags just to do the shit they're doing. So I can't be too mad at them. But back to Saint Row. It's full reboot. They say it's dropping in February. While I was watching the trailer, they didn't say anything about creating your own character. But for some reason, that wasn't brought up front because I was just like, Saint Row's always been you create your own character. You create the person you become. And they needed to push that a little more. For some reason, they just didn't do that. Like, show us a little scene of the character creation. Just give us something. But on Twitter, she's one of the devs said that is the case. You can still make your own character. Because Saint Row went real goofy in the later games. Saint Row, when you become the president, aliens coming, get out of hell. They just took a turn, and I'm just like, yo, you guys, I fucks with you. I bought all of them, but I wasn't too happy with the storyline and where it was going. I guess I'm part of the problem because I still bought the games. I did buy the games. The games were fun, but I wanted a more realistic. It didn't leave me with a lasting impression the other ones like Saint Row 2 did, and it just needs to go back. Now there's a lot of new characters in the game. They say that they might have some other characters, some returning characters. They might have some cameos in the game, might or might not. So I don't really know what's going on. I don't really know how that actually works. Either that fucking Saint Row, apart from there and in Stillwater, I guess you're an offshoot. That branch is an offshoot of the Saint Row in, what's the hell's the name of the city? Santa Agres. I'm probably butchering that, but you're an offshoot of there, so that's their own boss. And that might be the kick they need so that they don't have to backtrack a lot of the shit. Realistically, they can still say that everybody's in a simulation at some point, and that can be the case because no one in the world really knew what was going on. Plus, once you beat the game in the last Saint Row, like you just fix the world and you can do whatever you want. You know, wipe everybody's memory about the world being destroyed and have everything continue. So that is an option. They needed someone to compete with GTA on some type of level, and Crackdown definitely is not the case. And also, I was watching a video of fucking, I think it was IGN, when somebody compared Saint Row to Crackdown. That dude was definitely on crack. I don't even like the comparison. Crackdown is shit compared to Saint Row. In the tiers list, it is GTA, Saint Row. And the only reason the gap between GTA and Saint Row is so big is just that the level of details they put in the NPC and what the NPC does, like they have like their whole, they have like quote unquote lives. Like they do shit without the player character interacting with them. That's why they're so high on the board. Storytelling is still top notch. You like the characters in GTA, but they feel like throwaway characters because you're most likely not gonna see them again. But there's the caveat to that. The Lost in the DM guy, the biker guy, you've seen him in GTA 5. He was in GTA 4 and the DLCs. So it's pretty good, but it's not a lasting impression with those characters. It was a quick bite and they were done. But while I am talking about, it's just, there was a drought, and I've been talking about someone coming through and filling that drought. And I'm happy that they finally pulled the trigger on this. And it's dropping pretty soon because there's not going to be a GTA game dropping until like, what, 2024? That's what everybody's saying, 2024 or later. And it just makes sense to like corner the market for the, don't get me wrong, most people who fuck with GTA, they're not really gonna fuck with Saint Row like that. Most GTA diehards, because they're getting all the things they need out of the multiplayer for GTA, and they're still Red Dead. So there's a lot there. But back to Saint Row, I am glad that they made it. The boss character they use as a female character. I'm assuming you can just make whoever you want out of her, or make your character out of her, because it seems like everybody else have a name in the game except the boss. So I'm assuming that's a character you can use and you can generate. They just generated a female for the trailer. Perfectly fine. Don't really care about that as long as I can make my own character. I practically made all my characters. Actually, I made my characters men and women because I beat the GTA game. I mean, not GTA, the Saint Row games multiple times. So I don't care if the character's a male or female. I just care about it's like certain things that they have, like the certain like little, like they can't compete with GTA on a large scale, but there's little things they can do. The human shield and stuff like that. There's little things they can do to be like, this is a contender. At least it's still in the conversation. Now they made it very colorful and stuff like that, so it's kind of looking like Saint Row 3-ish, 4-ish, like the colors and stuff like that. It's looking almost like very suspicious on how good it's going to actually be, but I've been waiting for this. I'm gonna keep my eyes on this, and I need it to come out looking great. It just needs to happen. There's been a drought. They went so far left. They said Saint Row 3 was the more serious one. I just didn't like it compared to 2. 2 was the one. Like 2 felt so meaty in the story. Like they were giving me everything I can possibly want. The length of the game was fucking perfect. It made you want to do the side missions, stuff like that. But the side missions was just fun. And the co-op with the side missions extra more, like all that made the game fun. And that co-op, drop in, drop out co-op that GTA refuses to add, they just need to figure out a way. Also, they need to, kind of iffy to do this, but they should make they should give you a side character. I should say side character. They should give you a character that's embedded in a story that your partner plays as. So like in cutscenes, it makes sense why there's so many people. Like, you get what I'm saying? So there's like your partner jumps in. They're playing as one of the characters. The only character I remember is Eli. He plays as that person. On his screen, you can dress all wacky or whatnot, blah, 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 blah. But he is that character while he is in the game. So, like, it makes it a little more grounded in that fact. So, it's like, when he jumps in, he is that character. So, anytime they direct him, you know that they're portraying this person. So, I don't know, man. It just lines up a little bit better. Like, I know it's kind of picky, but I like those games to be like, at least acknowledge the second person that's in the game. And plus, if that person jumps out of the game, that character's still in the game. And it seems like you're still doing things. It's just a little thing. Well, you should be able to switch between the characters you want. But because there is already, there's 3 characters? And are we going to get Johnny Gat back? I hope so. I gotta figure out what the time period is. If this is gonna be after 4 events or after 3 events, probably after 2 events. And this was a much needed reboot because they kind of put themselves into a corner of how they were ending it. But it looks like a great game, and I'm excited to see what's next for this, what they're working with. And there's a lot of hate for the game already. Like, people not really liking the vibe. Hey, man, I hope that some of these older characters come back. If not, they don't. Or the time period got to line up for one of the games, so it makes sense. But I wouldn't be too hurt. But Johnny Gat as a character just needs to be like they've used Pierce a lot in Saints Row 3 and 4. Who they can bring back? Johnny Gat, Pierce. They can bring back Pierce. They can bring back Kenzie, Shondi. They can bring back some characters, and it just they have a lot to work with. They could go the same route, just re-drop. They can go back and re-drop the other Saints. Well, they can't do Saints Row 1 because that's kind of owned by Xbox, so I don't know if they would have the rights to do that. But redrop Saints Row 2 with the updated Saints Row 3 graphics, it might be a killer, but that's for another day. They probably should just give you that in a bonus, like just give you that as an add-on, Saints Row 2. But they said there is some type of destruction in the game. So the characters include the boss, Eli, Nina, Kevin. Like I was saying in the previous episodes, I said that the drought for GTA, them not being able to drop games as quick, other publishers can just literally work on their game and drop it out in a year when GTA is not as popping. Because GTA 5 came out, PS3? With the PS4? And no one dropped the game to this, I should say no one. Because definitely Saints Row 3 and 4 came out during those times. But they didn't take the reins as they should have. Now, moving on to GTA. Everybody knows GTA is a beast. And there's little to nothing that they can do to fuck up their amount of goodwill that they've amassed throughout their games. They have never dropped a game that was completely broken. They've done everything that you can possibly ask for, except GTA 5. There is no single player DLC. Realistically, I think that was the amount of money they were making on multiplayer, and they were like, well, if we just keep giving them multiplayer content, we wouldn't really need to waste money, or I shouldn't say waste money, but we wouldn't need to invest any more money on the single player. But what would the story be with an add-on? Would it just be like a Lost in the Dam type thing, Ballad of Gay Tony, like you just play a different character in the city? Because the characters you run with, depending on what ending you choose, it changes the things. So they had to pick a lane for that for the game, and I feel like they did what they needed to do. I would want a single player story, but and again, I have a problem. So I didn't finish GTA 5 because at this point I was just like, there was way too many other games that I want to get through. GTA 5 needs to be beaten, and I know I'm gonna hear it. I should have beaten it when I had the chance, but these other multiplayer games that dropped, and plus I was playing them, the online hardcore. It was just a lot there. Plus I got Red Dead to finish. I bought that day one and played like an hour of it. Not a bad game. I just played an hour of it. Plus there's an online, which I don't know if I'm gonna touch. But GTA has been giving us a lot to work with. That new GTA, wherever it's gonna be at, hey, the sky's the limit for these guys. They've earned all the goodwill that they needed. They take the time and release a complete product, and that's all we can say. Like, it's like the rest of the gaming industry can't take cues from them. It's just like from from the early stages of GTA 1 and 2, the GTA 3, there wasn't bug fixes that I can remember that was just like Fallout. Like, Bethesda drops the same games with the same bugs. Like, why don't you guys fix this shit if you know it's already a problem? But GTA has gave us, they have carte blanche on their games because we know what we to expect, and we're expecting greatness from GTA, and they always deliver. GTA 4, GTA 4 was not a bad game. I'm not gonna say it deserves anything less. From 1 to 10, there's anything less than an 8. But I have the things, the little add-ons they did have in the game, like your friend getting mad at you if you're not taking them out all enough. They were trying things. And Nico, the whole immigrant storyline coming in, starting at the bottom and then making his way up to the top. Hey, love the story. Nico's not a bad character. The driving mechanics people were complaining about, like the cars felt a little too heavy or too, like they weren't able to do a couple things. Like it felt like the cars were a little too heavy on turns and stuff like that. Those are nitpicky. Those are real nitpicky concerns. But if you're looking at all the GTAs, this one I don't think was as good as the compared to the rest. It did do some things. It did do some things good, some things bad. But I don't think it really was just like it was there enough. And GTA's always gotten high marks. Like I don't think anybody's giving the GTA anything lower than a 90 on Metacritic, 89. But hey, it is what it is, and we can only speculate now on what's coming with GTA. But it is what it is. Now moving on to Halo Infinite. These guys, why don't you just delay the game? Just delay the fucking game. You're gonna drop the game in fucking parts. The multiplayer is free. Single player is supposedly done, but the multiplayer, the co-op single player, co-op campaign is not done, so they're not gonna drop that. Forge is not done, so they're not gonna drop that with the game. I'm just like, delay the game. They're saying they don't want to delay the game, but just delay the game. Because it seems like you're just sending out Master Chief to go get killed by these Metacritic scores, because no one is going to like give Halo a new rating for this extra bullshit. Like, games are judged very harshly when they first drop. For a game that people's already waited for, just wait and drop it. Drop it when it's ready. Drop it when you have more of these shits done. Because it's fucking stupid to be like, we're going to sell you a $60 game and then the promise that we're going to fix all these things. That sounds familiar. Well, I'll talk about that later also. But fucking, it's just, there's still a lot of hype for Halo. That multiplayer that gave people what they needed. It gave people a little boost, and people's like, this is looking great. Multiplayer looks like it's good to go, and they can drop that for free. I have no problem with that. They're probably gonna go the same route as Call of Duty and just make they have Call of Duty has this fucking Warzone and then the Call of Duty game, and that's not even a bad route to go, realistically, because this is like, I just don't think there's a point of selling the single player if you're not gonna get the main things people expect. Usually, people who play Halo play it cooperatively. Like, I know there's been some comments of that. Oh, Halo is a single player game, and they just add on the co-op. But we had co-op since Halo 1, so it makes it very hard to be like, oh well, we can't finish that in time. I'm like, you can't finish that in time. You can. This is Microsoft. You guys are spending billions of dollars to secure some of these studios. You got Game Pass working for you. Technically, we don't know how much money Game Pass is actually making you, so I don't really want to fault that. But Game Pass is a thing. So there's a lot there that they need to figure out, and it just makes sense to just drop it when it's a full package. Forge alone is gonna be like a fucking big ass download for all the little nooks and crannies that you're gonna be able to do to add in. And the thing with Forge is like, at that point, do you even need to drop map packs for multiplayer? Because if you can create your own maps, why would you need to drop map packs? I guess new objects to put in the maps, but they've done like races in Halo. They've done a lot of things for Halo, so it's kind of disappointing that Forge is not going to be there. But realistically, I think Forge can wait. It's just that I don't believe that we should wait on the other things. Forge can technically wait. If this multiplayer is good enough, Forge can wait. Because I feel like if once you do drop Forge, you're gonna have to drop some new game modes. Like you're gonna do a lot. Drop some new map packs. You're gonna drop all that together. It just makes sense that way. But yeah. So Master Chief, you're letting me down a little bit. I said what I said in previous episodes, and Master Chief is coming for these other people's necks, multiplayer wise. Like Master Chief really might be a contender multiplayer wise with COD, with Battlefield. Like it really is in the mix with that type of conversation. Don't get me wrong, I don't think Master Chief is gonna beat them because those two games are multiplats. But we're not gonna be like Halo don't sell. Halo definitely sells, and it's also a free drop, so it may have the numbers longevity wise because it's free multiplayer. Everyone's gonna be playing it, and if it's free and it's gonna be on all the platforms, all the Xbox platforms, it might technically it might be a game changer because the numbers can come from everywhere, from PC, from the older Xboxes to the newer Xboxes. So there's something there. If they can pull together. Now they might have went to the drawing board on the characters and then kept trying to be like, oh, but with a game like Halo, you just need to put more time into it. You need to drop it at its best foot forward. So next topic, The Last of Us 2 Factions. There we go, Factions. Multiplayer. That's going to be a standalone game. When we were promised, I could have sworn we were promised that it was going to be part of The Last of Us 2. So they're now going to charge us another fee for a thing that should have been tacked on to The Last of Us. I don't know how I really feel about this. This is very weird, and I have tried playing factions, and I don't know how I feel about that game. The gameplay. Realistically, I don't really have a squad like that to play the game with, because my squad usually only plays like 2 multiplayer games. But could be a people have been trying to convince the overall gaming community that this is a great thing. I'm just saying, you're giving us something that was free. Now we have to pay for it. It's a little weird. It's a little weird, and they need to figure it out. But I'm assuming that when it does drop, it better have a lot. It better be a very meaty content in that when it drops. Because if not, yo, like I don't care if they're being like, oh, you can get, like it has to be multiple levels, multiple maps, not levels, multiple maps, multiple guns. They do have some like the little powers that they use in the map. It just better be very meaty. You know what I'm saying? So it just, if you're now charging of something that was added on, I gotta see what it drops with. It just doesn't make sense to just now request that we pay for something that was free. I don't know. It's just, this is how the gaming industry is moving now, and I don't really know. It also really depends on when it's gonna actually drop. Like, its dropping window is gonna be very important because Halo, COD, Battlefield, plus you still have the big heavy hitters, Apex, Fortnite. So Siege, I don't really know what the new Siege is. This new Siege multiplayer is gonna be like. I've seen videos of it and stuff like that. So there's a lot of competition for getting these getting people on the multiplayer apps. I don't know. And there's some people who strictly just play. I'm not talking about the outliers who strictly just pay for sport games and literally live in GTA and Red Dead. So, is there enough players to go around for with these big heavy hitters for factions to come over and really take the lead or take a large enough number of the pie? Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who jump between multiplayer games. I do that myself also. But Siege is my main game until something comes out that does it better or that takes me away from Siege. I don't know, man. They have to dropping at the right time is what's gonna either keep this game in the talking point. I mean, in the conversation. That's just a talking point in the conversation, and it's a very, I don't know, man. If this was if this dropped with The Last of Us, all right, let's talk about biased reviewers. It was all over Twitter this week, and I just gotta talk about it. So, Sony's not known to be giving their products away free willy nilly like Xbox is. It's not a good or a bad thing. It is what it is. But there's a lot of reviewers, people in the gaming industry who are upset about this, and they are slighted that they have to be like everybody else and go out and purchase the product, go hunt for it, because there's a lot of scarcity on PlayStation products in general. So they had to go above and beyond to get access to these things for them to do their reviews and get their videos out there. Now, some of these reviewers have made it a point to say that Xbox gives me this, and they just sound entitled at this point. Xbox has been giving you a bunch of free shit, and you love them for that, but you're slamming Sony because they're not giving you free shit. Why should they? They're the top dogs. And that's beside that, you've literally said that Xbox has been giving you all these things, and your real gripe is that they're treating you like a regular customer. You're not special because you get their thing and you do a review. You were going to do the review anyway because that's what the people want to see. Like, I don't understand why they made it seem like Sony was like a no-name company that needed this support. The average person is going to buy a Sony product and see what it is. So it doesn't even make sense that this is real. It's a real big deal. This also proves that if you were shipped a product, your views is gonna be skewed just off getting the free product. So people who've been known to get products for free, you really have to take it for a grain of salt, because if they are known to keep giving these people products, you're not gonna judge it as harshly as a first timer, like someone who gave you a product the first time or something you have to buy. So this is the same thing with when people get review copies for games and stuff like that. If these people got the review copy for free, got the copy, they are less likely to give the game a harsher score. And this goes for the biggest of the biggest reviewers out there. You can say IGN. We can say a lot of names. Um, we could probably say Angry Joe too, because the thing with Angry Joe's is he has 3 people who play the game with him, and he doesn't play the game on normal. He usually plays them on easy. At least that's what's been said. So it's a very weird situation. I like the guy. I watch his videos, but it's kind of skew on how they're playing the game. So if they talk about certain things, you got to look at it like when they talk about the difficulty of the game. Is that reviewer playing on easy? Was that reviewer given the game? These are the things you have to take into consideration. And it's kind of it's you're less likely to be as harsh if this company keeps giving you free shit. This is why the majority of these games are getting 5s and 6 out of 10 when we both know it's lower. But they'll boost up like, oh, the sound, the story. Like, don't get me wrong, those are all great. I shouldn't say the story, but the sound shouldn't boost your score up that high. Like, if you drop a GTA clone and it looks like shit, the storylines are shit, the gameplay shit, but the sound is supposedly gives it 2-3 points, so you can bring it up to a 5 as a basic game. Like, come on, we know what it is. So literally there was a video out on Twitter that a reviewer, or just whatever his, you can call him a reviewer, whatever he is. I didn't know about him before all this, so I'm just going in on what he said. He put out a video saying that the new PlayStation is running hotter and a lot of people are running with it, right? Come to find out, a video after that, he states that Xbox gives him a lot of products. And he was complaining a little bit in his next statement saying that, well, I had to go out and buy all these things for PlayStation. You kind of sound butthurt when you say that. Like, are they supposed to give it to you for free? And people really got to realize that the majority of quote unquote YouTubers in the gaming space or Twitch streamers in the gaming space, there's a lot of y'all. So when you talk like, oh, they should have gave me something for free, there's a lot of you. Meaning that just because you are upset about buying the game, other people are going to buy the game because they're actually into the game. They're actually going to put some time and effort into the game to actually give it a real review. That shouldn't gain them points or lose them points when they do that. But then you can be like, oh, well, they gave it to me, but what's in the review is all my own. Realistically, if they've been giving you free shit for quite a while, it's gonna skew your vision towards their end product. There's no way in hell you're gonna be like, this game is shit. This game is like, there's no way you're gonna say any of these things because the amount of free shit you got previously, or if this is your first time getting something free, you want it to be continuous. Like all those people who got Cyberpunk, the chairs, the custom console, like all those free shit you guys got. I don't remember a lot of you guys being as harsh as you needed to be about the game. Oh, it plays great on my PC. Did it? Did it really? Because they're still patching the PC. So I don't know what you guys mean, but these reviews can be bought, and it shows. And they just need to be honest with themselves. Like, in this whole console war thing, there is fanboys, and there's fanboys, and there's streamers. There's levels to this, and you guys are on their streamers level. If you don't get a product for free, you're not gonna give it a good grade. We know that, or a good score, but we know that, and you just got just be open and honest. Like, don't try to like, oh, I'm fair and I'm biased. No, Xbox gave you multiple shit for free for years, and you fuck with Xbox. It is what it is. It is what it is. Do not try to review PlayStation games if they're not giving it to you for free, because we already know that you're mad that you had to spend money on this. But it also defeats the purpose. Of just, you're mad that you just spend 60, 70 bucks when you're a big enough YouTuber who is getting thousands and thousands of views, so you're making money off the video anyway. So you spending $60 on something that's gonna give you, I don't even know the numbers, income back just off a span of time. It doesn't even make sense. 60, 70 bucks on something that's gonna gross you depending on your channel. Like, if you're at 90K, what does that even mean? And some of these people are big. It's kind of weird that. Also, another thing is, why do we keep giving people who are rich free shit? Like, free shit. Why do we keep doing this? Like, yeah, giving them free shit to get more eyes on it. But realistically, if GTA, the new GTA, they gave it to some no-name YouTuber, everybody's going to watch the video. Everybody's going to critique that guy's video. That guy, girl video. Like, we already know. So it's not even who you really give it to. There is a drought for GTA content right now. And if they get any intel that's credible, people are going to run with it. If it's a no-name YouTuber or a Twitch streamer that's playing the new GTA, everyone's going to make videos off that person's gameplay, and everybody's going to eat off of it. It's not like people are not going to just, oh, this guy's playing the game, he's talking about this, oh, I don't really believe in this. Everybody watches other people's content and critiques it, and that's the way YouTube does its thing. So them fighting for the scraps at the table, like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, you're mad about not getting something when you even technically, if you're big enough, you don't even have to buy it. You can just watch someone else's video and critique that, critique the gameplay of that, and that's, people do that all the time. So it is just ridiculous that this is an actual thing. That, whoa, PlayStation doesn't give me shit for free, so I'm mad. So now I'm gonna say that this is wrong, these things are wrong. They're nitpicking. I'm like, no, they're treating you like a customer. You're not a VIP to PlayStation. You're a customer. You can buy their game and never review them. You have that. You have that opportunity. Just like how crazy crazy Nintendo is when they're claiming everybody's videos. You don't have to review their shit. You don't have to. You chose to review it because you wanted to make content, and you knew the content would make you money. It is what it is. You spend money to make money. And why would Sony need to give you a product free when Sony's in the lead? Sony's in the lead. It doesn't even make sense. And it's not that there's just that Sony's in the lead. Depending if the game stands on its own, it doesn't need you, whoever you are, to promote it. It doesn't need you. Because word of mouth is a thing. All these games that are blowing up now, that came out like 3 years ago, somehow blew up now. These games, word of mouth carried it. Don't get me wrong. Certain people were streaming it. Bigger streamers hopped on the wave because a lot of the people were playing these indies, and these indies slowly blew up. These games were the talk of the town. The streamers needed content. It's like, oh, this is a hot game right now. Let me make a video on this and get some views. It is what it is. Among Us is a great example. The game came out like 3 years ago, 2, 3 years ago, and they seen smaller channels playing this game, and then it went up like wildfire. Like, I feel like that these people are delusional in what they need. It's like you having to have radio play to be one of the top rappers. You don't. We already know streams overlaps radio play regardless. So it is what it is. I just need people to get back to reality. Like, if you're gonna cape for one, that's cool. But don't try to make it seem like you're unbiased when clearly one side's giving you free shit and the other side's not, and now you're entitled to, like, well, if Xbox is giving me this free shit, why can't Sony? Why would Sony need to? When a Sony exclusive drops, the market wants to see it. You know that you have to pay for the game so that you can make money off the video you're going to review. Good or bad, you can say the game is shit, good or bad. You're going to make a review of it, and people are going to watch it. It is what it is. So you can think that the only way to stop it is just don't support Sony at all. If you really feel like it, don't support Sony at all. But then, since Xbox doesn't drop enough games or enough content, what else would you do? That's the real question. What else would you do? If you're strictly gaming, what else would you do? Sony drops the most exclusives. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple. There's third party games that you can review and everything like that. But people always want to see the comparison. Like, oh, this what it looked like this on Xbox. How does it look on PlayStation? You need them for content. You need Sony for content. Sony's doing something shitty. You need content. Even just to hate on Sony, you need content anyway. So it is what it is.